Welcome to UN News. Tragic breaking news coming to you now. An Amazon aircraft carrying hundreds of settlers bound for Mars has collided with an asteroid as it was entering Mars's orbit. Initial expert investigations have revealed no survivors on board the aircraft.
Come on, man. A spacecraft detonated in the expanse of space, so what do you expect? This ain't exactly a fender bender in a car park.
We are also continuing to receive reports of the impact that this space collision has had on the Mars surface settlements. Debris appears to have landed across the surface, impacting both the Amazon Co. and Petrobras settlements, as well as the Chinese-operated Martian settlement. Let's turn now to our panel to discuss the liability, responsibility, and implications of this disaster. Please join me in welcoming Chinese Minister Tila Tran, Origizon representative Ethan France, and foreign policy expert from Brown University, Dr. Manveer Chauhan.
It is still at this point difficult to tell the scale of the damage and loss of life, but as of right now, we have confirmed 21 deaths, but over 57 people remain missing. Of course, the Chinese administration in the settlement is working swiftly to ensure the safety of the people so thoughtlessly jeopardized by corporate neglect.
So, Mr. France, Ms. Tran has characterized what happened as corporate neglect. How would you respond to such an accusation?
Now, how this has been characterized with the Chinese government is truly disingenuous. At Origizon, we observe the most stringent testing and security regulations that go even beyond the restrictions placed upon us in the states in which we operate. All precautions were taken, and it's truly unfortunate what happened, but it also would have resulted from a state enterprise or any other organizations attempting to undertake such voyages as we are.
Very interesting. Turning to you now, Dr. Chauhan, does this tragedy indicate to you that space exploration and settlement perhaps require greater state oversight?
I cannot speak definitely on accountability in this circumstance. You would be correct in saying that this could happen to any organization. All plans can fail. But we must not ignore the fact that corporations have not historically strayed away from cutting corners to save their bottom line.
And again to you. Does the American government need to accept culpability for what occurred here? As it is stated in the Outer Space Treaty, the activities of non-governmental entities in outer space shall require authorization and continuing supervision by the state concerned.
While this is the international legal context, it has to be said that the treaty you mentioned is more than 100 years old. It's unlikely that there will be much legitimacy seen in an attempt to force the American government to accept the responsibility for the action of a private entity, which by our current understanding has yet to be shown to have engaged in any wrongdoing.
I see. Well, I would like to thank you all for your valued contributions. We are truly only beginning to understand what this crisis means for humanity. Now let's hear from our analyst, Thomas Lafreniere, who has spent the past 20 years of his career studying the effects of intergalactic colonization.
Thank you. As everyone is desperate to blame others for this event, I'd like to start by pointing out that the 5 core United Nations treaties regarding outer space are still in effect, including the Liability Convention of 1972. Despite the capitalist tendency to deflect responsibility, the convention clearly indicates where blame must fall.
Very interesting. What is your take on the current Mars settlements?
Our current infrastructure capabilities do not meet the needs of Mars settlements. The technology required to sustain these faux towns is insanely expensive and not sustainable. The explosion demonstrates just how fragile the infrastructure is. I'd like to encourage everyone at home to think about whether the advantages of the current corporate model of occupation outweigh the resulting negligence.
As one of the only news outlets with a physical presence on Mars, we will now be sharing an exclusive piece from Shakur Zain, one of our reporters.
Thank you, Eva. It's been a grim past few hours in the wake of this tragedy. I'm here with a fellow resident, Sasha, who is a close friend of one of the missing residents.
This is despicable. All of this could have easily been avoided. I came here to start a new life, away from all the chaos of Earth. But as companies are taking control, more problems are building up.
Thank you, Sasha, for sharing your experience with us. Thank you for joining us. That is all for now. We hope everyone is staying safe, and we will continue to provide updates as the situation unfolds.